Let's argue. Let's argue. We're talking about hot takes and unpopular opinions going into the year of 2025. All my photographers rally around. If you're ready to argue, let's do it. Now, these are unpopular opinions, hot takes, so they're not going to appease everybody. They might offend some of you. I don't know, but hey, you're here, so let's jump right into it. So the first thing that is my unpopular opinion or my hot take going into year 2025 for photography is turnaround times. It should not be taking you 8 weeks to return a gallery back to your client. It just shouldn't. There's too many things out here. There's too many things to help you to, there's like, just what are you doing? Like, why is it taking you 8 weeks to return a gallery? It doesn't matter if it's a wedding, portrait session, doesn't matter if it's an Indian wedding, it takes like multiple days. Like, it really doesn't, I honestly don't see why it's taken 8 weeks in 2025 to return a gallery to a client. And I know a lot of the photographers that are taking these full 8 weeks to deliver galleries aren't even working on the pictures that they took until a week after they took them. Like, they're letting them sit on their SD card. They're switching out the SD cards instead of backing them up onto their SSDs. And then after a week, they're like, well, let me get started on these pictures. And then like, you give yourself an 8-week window so you can stay within your contract. But in reality, you're just kind of being lazy. Now, hot take, it's a hot take. If it really came down to it and you utilize everything that is at your forefront that is available to you, it shouldn't take you more than a week or two to turn around galleries. It really shouldn't. Now, you're probably saying like, well, what's your turnaround time? It's a week for weddings and it's 3 days for portraits because I utilize everything that's available to me. And it just shouldn't take 8 weeks. It just really shouldn't. And think about it like from the client's perspective. Like, they get married and then they have to wait 2 whole months to get their pictures back. By that time, they pretty much forgot they got married already. You know, like all the family's like, oh yeah, they got married a couple months ago, whatever. The clients are checking their emails every day saying, well, maybe the pictures came back today. Maybe they came back today, and they didn't. They're just waiting such a long time. And if you're taking a full 8 weeks, then pictures better be fire too, because you better not be letting your client wait 8 weeks and then deliver some mediocre pictures. Just shouldn't happen. But yeah, turnaround times, hot take for 2025 should not be taking you 8 weeks. It should take you really like 2 or less. 4 if it's like very intricate details and you got to do a lot of retouching. But if you're just doing like basic editing and, you know, straightening, cropping, shouldn't take you more than 2 weeks. Anyway, hot take number 2 is that this blurry photo trend is absolute garbage. It just looks stupid. It looks trashy. I hate the look of it. And these are just my opinions. These are just my hot takes or my unpopular opinions, but I just think they look stupid. I don't understand why there's like such a craze or a rave about blurry pictures. Like, some people are going to say like, oh, if you do it right, it just looks like it captures movement and stuff. But if you want to capture movement, do a long exposure. Okay. But like, just put, like intentionally flinging the camera around to get a blurry picture, it just looks stupid. Like, I see them all over Instagram. I'm just like, why? Like, what's the point? Now, I get it. If your clients don't complain about it, then, you know, I shouldn't complain about it. I get it. But at the same time, this is my channel. These are my opinions. So that's just how it is. I think they look stupid. I think they're trash, and I think they need to be abolished in the year of 2025. That's just me. Anyway, no more need to be said about that one. Let's move on. Hot take number 3. This one is going to ruffle some feathers if I haven't already. And a lot of you are going to be mad at this, but photography degrees don't mean a dang thing. They don't. They really don't. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, I got a master's degree in photography. Like, you're telling me that doesn't mean anything? No. Like, shout out to you for being disciplined enough and studious enough to pass your classes to get that piece of paper. But like, it really doesn't mean anything when it comes to the field. Now, y'all are heated right now. Y'all are loading up the comments right now. But think about it this way. When you go to a regular 4-year institution, right? And let's say you get a psychology degree. You go and get your psychology degree, you know, shout out to you. You were studious and disciplined enough to study all through college and get this degree. Now you're going to apply for a job. What type of jobs are you going to be accepted for most likely coming out of college with this degree? Entry-level jobs. Why? Because you don't have experience. Now, if someone did not have a degree in psychology, but they had 5 years of experience in the field, who's going to be the first person to get the job? The one with the experience or the one with the degree? And then photography is just one of those things where you can learn everything on YouTube. You can be self-taught. So like going to school for it doesn't really do anything for you. And there's so many people who have said like, yeah, I went to school for photography and I learned more being out in the field and being on YouTube than I did in photography school. I mean, they kind of teach you the basics in photography school, if I had to assume, but at the same time, nothing's really going to matter until you apply it. So like, I will take somebody who has shot weddings for 4 years consistently over someone who just graduated college with a photography degree, because one has experience and one doesn't. Now you can be mad at me all you want on this. I know some of you are going to be real mad at me. I know, but I'm just saying, like, nobody, like, it just doesn't mean a whole lot, like flaunting your degrees. Like I had a dude tell me the other day, he was like, yeah, I got 2 master's degrees in photography. And he basically was trying to like say he was better than me because of that. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Because until you put that art into practice, until you put the lighting into practice, until you put the composition in practice, until you know what tool to use for what job, it doesn't really matter. Put it this way. I had surgery on my pec out in Colorado. I was playing rugby and tore my pec, whatever. The surgeon who, fixed me up, his name was Sean Barron, shout out to him. He walked me through every single step of what he was going to do in the process of my surgery. And in theory, if you asked me in that moment, could I perform that surgery? In theory, yes, because he told me everything that was going to happen. But if they were to hand me the tools to get the job done, I wouldn't know what tool to use in which situation. The same thing kind of with the photography degree. Like, you're sitting in a chair listening to someone talk to you, but if they hand you the tools and say, okay, go ahead and perform this, are you going to know like how to use said tools and how to utilize those tools in certain situations? Probably not. I mean, maybe, but probably not. So photography degrees don't really mean a whole lot. Experience trumps all. And yeah, sorry. Don't want to hurt your feelings, but yeah, that's how I feel. Okay, next hot take or unpopular opinion is that married men should not be shooting women's boudoir. That's like weird. It's like strange behavior. There's so many men out here who use a camera to manipulate women and to get in with a woman. They're like, oh, I can take your picture, but really it's a undercover scheme just to try to sleep with said woman. It's just weird. It's weird behavior. Like, I think women should shoot women's boudoir photography and leave it at that. Like, if you asked a man who wants to shoot, like if a man said, hey, I want to shoot boudoir, like, would you shoot men's boudoir? And they say no, then you don't want to shoot boudoir. You just want to look at naked woman. Like, that's just my personal opinion. Like, I seen something on Threads the other day, and this lady was like, there's so many men with a camera who she didn't know they were married. Yeah, because a lot of men use that camera just to try and get in with women and it's strange behavior. Men should stay away from boudoir. Like, it's strange that men buy a camera and the first thing they shoot or they want to shoot is a naked woman. Like, why not shoot a grad? Why not shoot a senior? Why not shoot an event? Like, why is your first thing a naked woman in boudoir? It's weird. So I don't think, well, I could really go further and say men in general, period, should not shoot women's boudoir, but definitely married men. Married men should not be shooting women's boudoir. Like, I don't care if your wife's there. Like, it's weird. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Next hot take, unpopular opinion. If you are not using AI in photography in 2025, you are way behind. And some of y'all are like, AI is ruining the industry. Now, AI can be a detriment to the industry if you let it, but there's a reason why I can turn around my picture so quick. It's because I use AI. I use Imagen AI to edit all my photos. I cull manually, and then I shoot it in the AI with my preset, and then it edits exactly how I want it. I make some minor tweaks, and then I shoot it off to the client. Like, if you're not using AI, if you're not using stuff at your fingertips, then I mean, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why not? Like, why not? Like, it can be such a help to your business. It can be such a help to your stress levels. Like, there's a reason so many people are in like October or November and they're like, I'm so burnt out. I'm so stressed out. Like, I'm backed up, all this, like I need to hire editors and stuff like that. There's a reason, because you're not utilizing all the tools that are available to you. So tools like Aftershoot and Imagen AI to like get galleries out and to help you with editing. And if you want to help with culling, you can. Straightening photos, retouching photos, stuff like that. Like all this stuff that's available to you, they're here for photographers to be less stressed. And if you're not utilizing them, they're complaining about stress, like maybe start utilizing them. I think AI is a big help in photography if you use it correctly. Now, I'm not a big fan of digital art. I'm not a fan of people creating stuff solely from AI and saying like, hey, look at this picture I took. You didn't take it, you made it. Okay, so there's a difference between digital art and there's a difference between using AI to your advantage. I think every photographer in 2025 should be using AI to their advantage, and it'll help a lot in their workflows, in their processes, and they can get a lot more done throughout the year without feeling the stress that they typically feel year in and year out. So use AI 2025. The last hot take and the last popular opinion, I highly doubt anybody's still watching at this point, but why are we still buying DSLR cameras in 2025? Like, I don't really understand that. Now, I'm not saying if you already have a DSLR camera that you've had and then you're carrying it into the year 2025, I'm not talking about that. That's not an issue. I'm saying like if you're going out to buy your first camera and saying, oh, I want to get into photography or I want to buy a second body, like what camera should I buy? And someone recommends you a DSLR. Like, why are we still recommending DSLRs in 2025? Like, mirrorless is the same price as DSLR, and mirrorless is such an advanced technology. Like, there's still a lot of DSLRs that can get the job done and that will work exceptionally well. But why are we investing in old technology when technology nowadays is moving and advancing at such a fast pace? Like, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we're buying DSLR cameras and old DSLR lenses in 2025. Like, it doesn't matter if you shoot Canon, Sony, Nikon, like it doesn't matter. Like DSLR cameras 2025, like leave those in the past. Mirrorless is a new way to go. And mirrorless technology is so far advanced and can keep up with a lot more of what people are shooting in 2025. And so if you do have a DSLR camera already and you carry it into 2025, that's fine. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about if you're going out to buy a camera and you're looking at DSLRs. I mean, for instance, put into perspective, the Canon 5D Mark IV is like a really popular camera. And I think it's like $1,800. Now, why would we buy a $1,700, $1,800 5D Mark IV when you can buy a $2,000 Canon R6 Mark II with advanced specs and advanced lenses, advanced, like everything's more advanced and you're paying the same price? So I don't know. That's just me. I think buying DSLR cameras in 2025 is kind of useless when you can buy such an advanced technology for the same price or just a little bit more. But anyway, this has been the video of hot takes and unpopular opinions for 2025. If you hate me, let me know down in the description below. If you don't, like and subscribe to the channel. I would assume not a lot of you like me, at this video, but hey, it is what it is. So thank y'all for tuning in. Like, subscribe to the channel. There were a lot more of this came from. Not a lot more hot takes. This would be the only hot take I do for 2025. So if you made it past this, congrats. But anyway, I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.